So recently, as most Canadians already know, we are facing unprecedented immigration numbers from a certain group of people, from a certain group of nationalities. Most of these people came to Canada through travel visas, through seeking asylums from dangers that probably don't exist, and studying in colleges or universities where they don't even attend most of their classes, or they're just attending these diploma mill schools where they churned out diplomas for the sake of money, not for the sake of education. And they're doing all these probably just to stay in the country for free, where they can work illegally, they can stay illegally, and the businesses that employ them, they can pay these people a lot less than what they pay a local Canadian. And that's kind of good for the economy, right? I mean, there's more people, there's more workers, there's more consumers in the economy. It's gonna drive the economic growth in Canada, right? I mean, it is. But the downside is pretty much everything else. That it is overwhelming every aspect of the Canadian society. From raising rents, from overwhelming the healthcare system that should be meant for Canadians, from overwhelming the public services that should be meant for Canadians because they are paying taxes for it. They are funding it. Whereas these people, they are not. And nowadays, if you go into the GTA, you go into these retail stores or you go to these fast food stores, most of these employees that you encounter, 90% of them probably look the same, if you know what I mean. So they don't speak proper English. They don't have the same mannerisms as us Canadians. And it just seems like they just got fresh off the boat from a foreign country, which most of them are. And overall, it just feels like the Toronto area or even Canada is not the same place as it used to be 10 years ago or even just 5 years ago. It feels like a completely different country. So I'm only talking about the Toronto area since that's where I'm from. But this problem can also be applied to most of other cities and provinces and not even just Brampton. So in this video, I'll be talking about how immigrations have evolved in Canada, how we got to this place, how Canadians have been taken advantage of for a long, long time. And we're not doing anything about it, pretty much. And why Canada should stop relying on real estate and immigrations for its future. So Canada is known for its multiculturalism, with a diverse population of backgrounds from all around the world. You could also say that Canada is a land of immigrants, where most of the population came from parents or grandparents of immigrants of some form. The Native Canadians or Indigenous people of Canada are in the extreme minority as a result. Most of the Indigenous people, they don't even live in large cities. It used to be that the majority of immigrants came from Western and Eastern Europe before the 70s. But after the 70s, Canada basically opened up to everyone, and many people from East Asia and South Asia started coming in. And as a result, we now see Canada as a multicultural society today. And we sort of pride ourselves in that. But that pride kind of changed in recent years. Nowadays, the vast majority of newcomers are from India. Even the mainland Chinese, most of them don't even want to come to Canada anymore. They know it's not worth it. It's not what it used to be. And the newcomers, they aren't exactly high quality. Pretty much in the last few years, Canada has been giving out visas left and right, allowing pretty much anyone to fake their asylum claims and just being too relaxed when screening people going into the country. They have since tightened their visa and immigration policies, but it is quite too late. Canada's population increased by more than 2 million from 2022 to 2024. That is over 5% increase of the entire population made up of mostly just immigrants. And of course, the country's infrastructure and public services suffered. The Canadian society isn't built to handle over 40 million people overnight. Not even in 5 or 10 years can we sustainably handle the current population that we have. The quality of immigrants we have accepted has drastically gone down over the years. And when we actually start to push back against them, it is once again way too late. Now, the newly arrived immigrants, most of them don't even want to leave. And what is Canada doing about it? Pretty much nothing. Yes, they are restricting a lot of incoming arrivals, but what are they doing with the people that are currently in the country? The people that are working illegally, that are committing crimes? Pretty much nothing. There's not enough pressure on these people to make them leave. Or you could say there's no pressure at all. I'm not saying we should be doing what America is doing with ICE, just arresting everyone off the street. But we need some form of pressure to actually get these people off of Canada, because it is actually damaging the Canadian society in terms of infrastructure and also culturally. And it is messing up the foundation of Canada that we have built over decades. I still remember the time when I was in university, we would discuss topics like, what are Canada's strengths? And most people, or even everyone, would say it's multiculturalism and diversity, or something along the line. Everyone would keep repeating the same narrative, but no one actually asks, why is multiculturalism good? Why is diversity good? Can too much multiculturalism be a bad thing? What actually is multiculturalism? Because in reality, there's multiculturalism in Canada, of course, but everyone is still Canadian. There's people with different skin colors, different backgrounds, different religions. It does not matter. But at the end of the day, we are still Canadians. We grow up speaking French or English. We have our own culture. We have certain mannerisms. We speak a certain way. And these traits are way, way different than most of the people that we are letting in to stay in the country illegally, who don't even speak English or French properly. Canadians are known to be nice, and that's quite true for the most part. So much so that we let people take advantage of us. Over the years, we have let everyone outside and inside to game the public system in Canada. Whether it's immigration fraud, mortgage fraud, tax fraud, social benefits fraud, and we let these massive companies charge us some of the highest banking fees, telecom fees, Wi-Fi fees, and even insurance rates just because the corporations, can do it. And Canadians just seem to really accept it without much pushbacks. It's sort of in the culture that we are accepting of everyone, of everything. Just accept whatever hands are dealt to us without thinking how that's going to affect the Canadians that are paying taxes, the Canadians that have worked so hard to build the society today. If you live in Canada, you would be quite familiar with what's going on. You're paying some of the highest auto insurance rates in the world, especially in the GTA or the Toronto area. And it is still going up each year due to more thefts and insurance frauds, or just because the insurance companies can do it, so they will. You are paying 13% in sales taxes on almost everything, after paying about 30%, 30, in your income taxes. And it's just taxes after taxes after taxes. Canadians are way too lenient and accepting of everyone and anything. You can even see it in the court systems, where white-collar crimes really aren't being punished enough. So people will keep taking advantage of the system. Police are way too tolerant on crimes, way too lenient on repeat offenders, and many Canadians have lost faith in law enforcement. The court systems is underfunded, understaffed, and it's just too soft on crimes. Murderers, repeat offenders, fraudsters, drug dealers are let out into society without much repercussions, and without a doubt, they're gonna do whatever crimes they did again because they know there's no consequences. And the court probably won't do too much about it. And sometimes I even ask myself if we have a justice system or if everything is just for show. But really, I don't think it's the court that is solely to be blamed. The public system is a good reflection of the Canadian culture, of the Canadian people, of the Canadian population. And I'm not even joking when I'm saying this, but I've seen way too many Canadians just turn a blind eye to this, or even accept everything that's happening. Even if they realize what's going on, there's not enough pushbacks for change. They just accept being taken advantage of, I guess. This has been long overdue. The Canadian economy has been relying on real estate and immigration for way too long. Just 2 years alone in 2020 and 2021, the Canadian real estate rose something like 30% to 40%, the highest increase ever because of low interest rates and many buyers FOMOing into the market. Now the market is severely deflating, almost to a point of crashing. In a high interest rate environment, people finally realize that they cannot afford their monthly payments. They were over leveraged right from the beginning. Combined with many layoffs and job losses, the real estate deflation was bound to happen. The high interest rate environment actually wiped out many speculators, mortgage fraudsters that lied about their incomes, hid their debts to gain more leverage. These people are not supposed to have access to so much money in the first place. But the Canadian system, of course, allowed this. Canada is not in a recession by definition, but if you account for inflation, Canada is actually in a recession right now. And we should take the time that we are in the recession to actually move away from relying on real estate appreciation and rentals to drive our economy. Because real estate is not a reliable growth engine for the economy in the long term. We should be focusing on our tech industries, our exports, and strengthening our homegrown businesses and actually support the companies that really need it, not just giving out loans and grants to anybody and everybody like what they did for many years. Immigrations should be given to those that would benefit the country economically, like high-skilled workers or high-value investors. Canada already has many programs for this, and it actually promotes this currently, but the executions is just so poor. Maybe it was done on purpose. Who knows? So that's all I have to say for now. Let me know what you think about Canada's current situation and whether if we have a bright future ahead of us or maybe not. And of course, please like and subscribe on this video if you like this content, and I'll see you in the next one.